Today, Baba is talking about the wrong intoxication of knowledge. And the wrong intoxication of knowledge is called arrogance. Arrogance of knowledge. And you see, arrogance is a very interesting thing. So, when there is arrogance, when you have arrogance of something, then you don't use that something for any benefit. So, when you're arrogant of something, then the utility of that something is curtailed. Yes, so those who are very arrogant of their intelligence, they never allow anybody to benefit from their intelligence. I remember there was this one brother, and he shared that, his office mates, they had filed a case against him while he was on the verge of retirement. He was a government employee, and he said that that case is a false case. So I asked him, so you must have done something, maybe not that which you're accused of, but nobody is after you just for nothing. So do you think that you've done something? So then he said, I have been very arrogant in my life. So I said, what do you mean by you've been very arrogant in your life? So he said, I was very sharp and I knew the rules. I knew how to get the work done in office. And I never shared it with anybody. And whenever somebody requested me for help, I always insulted them and then helped them. So, you don't know this much also, and are you foolish? You've been in here 10 years, what are you doing? And these kind of things I would say, and then I would help them. So, you see, when you're arrogant of something, A is you never put it to any use. And that is why arrogance is something that stops you from creating a fortune. Because a fortune is created when you use something for seva. Baba has told, safal karne se safalta milti hai. When you put something for use, and especially now that we are Baba's children, we know that the best use is for spiritual service, and whether it's your time, whether it's your intellect, whether it's your any resource, any skill that you have, any speciality that you have, whatever you have, if you put it for use, for world service, only then it creates a fortune. And arrogance never allows you to use something for betterment, whether your own or others. And second thing is, arrogance, you just use that one thing to feed your ego. Yes, that's the thing about arrogance. And the second thing is, the one who is arrogant will have a lot of potential for feeling insulted. They will feel insulted at everything. So anybody questioning anything about them, they will just feel insulted. And Baba says sometimes, when we come to Gyan, we have this arrogance of knowledge. And what is arrogance of knowledge? So you see, there are many Baba's children, and there are many, and if you ask them, they say with a lot of pride, I've been in Gyan for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. But then, what are you doing? So, what is, okay, you are in Gyan for 15 years, but what is the reform in your character? What is your state of being virtuous? What is your state of surrender? What is your state of seva? So, and if you ask that, then the only response you get is they are offended. So, it is not even that, when somebody asks or questions, even then it wouldn't ring a bell. It would just translate into offense and a feeling of feeling insulted. And I'll give you one example. There was this one brother, and he had come from some center, and he was attending class here. So I never mind if somebody asks me a question, because of course, why would I be asked a question? Because I know the answer. So if somebody asks you a question, of course it's a good thing, because you know the answer. And then there was this one brother, and he claimed that he had been in Gyan for 15 years. And then he was sitting in the class. He was a new student in this class, and then I asked him, I was just, in the Murli there was a reference to the three worlds, Teen Lok. And then I asked him, what are the three worlds? And then he just looked at me like in amazement, and I didn't understand it, because couldn't even figure out what was wrong. And then after the class, he came and told me, don't you think I know the three worlds, and I've been in Gyan for 15 years? So I said, but you didn't answer. So he said, so of course I won't answer, because that's an insult. So I said, no. The only reason why somebody doesn't answer is because they don't know. That is very, very clear. And if you know the answer, tell me what are the three worlds. Describe them to me. And then I'll tell you, he didn't know the description of the three worlds. And the interesting thing is, you are getting offended about something that you don't know. So I just, and he tried tooth and nail to just, put it on me, and that, I know, and you have no right to question, and this and that, and I have been 15 years in Gyan. So I said, okay, that's fine enough. You give me a description of the three worlds, and I will accept that you are in Gyan for 15 years. And he couldn't give me a description. And then I told him that, somebody who takes the course for 7 days knows this answer. So I do not accept you as a student of 15 years. I think you are less than somebody who has been in Gyan for 7 days. Whether you like it, don't like it, not my problem. And you see, this is the thing. So, I'm not saying that he understood anything out of it. He just got offended. He went to another center. He didn't come to me ever again. But the thing is, this is an example. Because, when Baba says wrong intoxication of knowledge, we don't really understand what's going on. So, we have to understand that wrong intoxication of knowledge or arrogance of knowledge is, you are not understanding Gyan, you are not remembering Baba, you are not changing your nature, character, you are not doing seva, nothing. but just I'm so long in Gyan and this and that and the other. So all that is wrong intoxication of Gyan. And Baba says, we have to save ourselves from that wrong intoxication of Gyan. And even when you speak to a layman, we are talking about spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is a very high thing. But even when you talk about knowledge, you just Google what are the signs of a knowledgeable person. They will give you 20 traits that should show in a knowledgeable person. And if you have no traits of a knowledgeable person, then it's all wrong intoxication of knowledge. And when we talk about spiritual knowledge, what are the traits of somebody who is spiritually knowledgeful? That person doesn't have to go about beating his own drum that I am so long in Gyan and I have done so much tapasya and this and that. And I'll share another one example. There was this one brother and he told me that I have taken palna from so and so and this and that, and I have achieved this stage in meditation and that stage in meditation. So I said, okay, good enough. So what are you here for? So he said that I beat my wife yesterday and she left home, and now there is a police case going on and I want some suggestion regarding that. So I said, why didn't you start with that? Because all that you said is now, doesn't mean anything. So I don't know what palna you've taken and what you have understood. And if you can raise your hand, I told him, even in Agyan Kal, I have never raised my hand on anybody. It's not about Gyan. If you can raise your hand on somebody, you can, beat somebody, that's huge. I was not in Gyan for 27 years of my life, but I never did that. And how can you beat somebody when you say, I'm so many years in Gyan? So he said it was a moment of rage. So I said, what rage? So you see, this is the wrong intoxication of knowledge. So you have to understand that knowledge is not knowledge if it is not making you yogi, it is not making you virtuous, it is not calming you down, it is not making you surrendered and a sevadhari. And even if there are examples of these kinds, we don't have to look at those examples. We have to become the other kind of example. And nevertheless, the truth is Baba has come. And whatever Baba is teaching is 100%. And anybody who imbibes it will change from a human to a deity. That is 100%. And if I'm not changing, then there is something wrong in the way I'm studying and what I'm studying. Maybe I'm not paying attention, or maybe I'm not doing what Baba is saying. Because what Baba is saying, and I'm telling you this from the deepest place in my heart, I have never ever come across anything so powerful as this knowledge. What Baba is giving us is transformative. And I always, whenever, at least once a day, while I'm having a conversation with Santosh Bhai, I always tell him that, this thing that Baba teaches us, this, especially this vidhi of yoga, that you become soul conscious and remember Baba as he is, this can change everything. This can change the whole paradigm of who you are, what the world is, what your relationships are. It can change everything. It is phenomenal. But if there is no change, that means that there is something wrong in the way in which I am imbibing knowledge. And you see, in the world it is said about Shastras that if you burnt all the Shastras, there will be more heat than light. And why it is said so? Because it is said that most people who read about spirituality, they become more arrogant than enlightened. But we are not reading Shastras. We are reading God's knowledge, and at least, here it should be less heat and more light, or no heat and everything light. So Baba says that, how do you save yourself from this wrong intoxication of knowledge? So Baba says, first point, know and remember Baba as he is. And you see, do you know Baba as he is? So the first point is, Baba says, give everybody the introduction that Baba is my father. So give introduction of the two fathers, the father of the body and the father of the soul. And Baba is my father, the father of me, the soul. And who is Baba? Baba is that father who had given me the inheritance of Satyug, and then I took birth after birth, and then I started living the life of an orphan. And then now that father, my eternal father, has come from the soul world, from the pure world, and he has entered Brahma Baba's body for me. So Baba says, know me as I am. And when you know Baba, that he is my father and he has come for me from the soul world, and is sitting in the body of Brahma Baba. Baba is not an idea. Baba is a reality. Baba is my father and he has come for me. And you see, Baba has no reason to come and sit in this impure world, but he is doing that for me. And when you know Baba as he is, and then you understand that Baba becomes the teacher and he is giving me these jewels of knowledge. And Baba says that every jewel of knowledge that I am giving in the Murli, whether it is the jewel of knowledge in terms of the truth I am telling you, or the direction that I am giving you. In the Murli there are two kinds of Shrimad that Baba gives. First is Baba tells us the truth about everything. It is not this, it is this. So Baba says that, so for example in the Murli today, Baba says that people say that when you have wealth and when you are happy, then it's Swarg here, and when you are poor and distressed, then it's Nark. But Baba says no. Baba says this is Nark and Swarg was there 5,000 years back. So whether somebody is in temporary happiness or wealth, doesn't matter. It is Nark and it is absolute Nark for everybody. It just takes that, it is an illusion that you think it's not like that. And I'll give you one example. There was this one brother and he had come for the course, and first time he came to the center, and then I was sharing Gyan with him, and then he told me that, Didi, destruction will happen for the poor. It will not happen for the rich. So I said, okay. So I said, and how do you think you will save yourself from destruction? So he said, Didi, these days there are resources for everything. So even if the pollution level goes very bad, then I can have a machine for myself which will protect me from that pollution. So I said, and how many can you buy? How many can you afford? So I said, for my entire family, I can buy, I can afford, I'm rich. So I said, okay, and what about your servants and maids? And said, okay, so yes, of course, we can't live without them. So yes, I can buy for them also. And then I said, what about for the milkman who delivers milk, or for the vegetable vendor, say, who delivers vegetables, or for the grocer who supplies grocery? So then he started thinking, but he said, don't confuse me. This is true that rich people can survive every disaster. So I said, all right, let's focus on the course. We will take this another time. And then he completed the course. He didn't come for the Murli. But when COVID happened, then he called me and he said, my wife, my children and I, all 4 of us have COVID. And you pray to God for us. So you see that somebody who doesn't understand this is narc and nobody is immune to anything realizes it at that time, but then earlier you don't realize. But Baba says, I speak the truth always. What I'm saying is the truth. Whether your intellect understands it right now or understands it later. And Baba says, I give you these directions to do this or not do this, or that direction if you follow, you will change from a situation of being in grave loss to a situation of being in spiritual profit. And Baba tells us that these jewels that I give you, if you imbibe them, then these jewels will translate into physical wealth and position in the new age. बाबा says ये एक एक रत्न कल तुम्हें रत्नों के भंडार देंगे. So these are the jewels of knowledge that we have to imbibe, and Baba changes our fortune through these jewels of knowledge. And you see that in various cultures, so we say the names of fairies are named after jewels. Topaz fairy and Pukhraj and Neelam Pari. So the names of fairies are named after jewels. So Baba says these jewels are the angels, these jewels are your wealth, these jewels of knowledge are everything. And Baba says, when you know the Father as He is, and you know that He is giving you these jewels of knowledge, then you make effort to imbibe every point of knowledge. And imbibing a point of knowledge is not easy. You have to churn deeply over it, day in and day out. You have to think about it so that your awareness, your attitude changes in the light of that knowledge. And then Baba says, even regarding a direction, in order to imbibe that direction and change your sanskar, you have to make effort, because you see, you follow a direction for some time. Let's say, Baba says, don't complain. So you will follow that direction for some time, but then you don't remember when you again start complaining. So you have to be very alert, very aware, and you have to be very introverted and keep checking in order to imbibe every jewel. And Baba says this life is a life of Purusharth and Seva. There is no space for arrogance. And what I have understood in this journey is, the more you put everything into practice, the more you become aware of how much work is left to be done. The more you become very aware of your very little shortcomings also. And they keep you grounded and humble. You know that it's not a small journey, and your whole time and energy is spent in reforming yourself. And I always feel that in this Brahmin life, we don't have time and thought for anything other than self-transformation and seva. Because if you've opened that Pandora's box of self-transformation, you know there is so much to be done that you cannot think about anything. So Baba says that you have to be on this journey when you know Baba and remember Baba as he is. And when you remember Baba, Baba has asked us to become first soul conscious. So if you remember Baba as he is a point of light. So how can you remember Baba in body consciousness? And what is body consciousness? If you have a single thought about this physical material world, that is body consciousness. So you have to disconnect, detach completely in your awareness from this old world. And only then you can remember Baba. And those who remember Baba like that, they become full of love and compassion and virtues and everything. And you see, the biggest shift that happens when you are in knowledge, when you really remember Baba, is you become very compassionate. Compassion is the biggest quality that you draw from Baba. And when you become compassionate, then all you can think about is seva. All you can think about is, how do I bring benefit to every soul who is suffering? You start understanding the pain that everybody is going through. So Baba says that there will be no time for anything else. There will be no space for arrogance if you just know Baba as he is and remember Baba as he is. And then the second thing Baba says is, if you know, so Baba also talks about praising the Father. So if you praise Baba from all your heart, so when what is the opposite of arrogance? So somebody who is arrogant can only praise themselves, they cannot praise anybody. But when you know that Baba is giving you so much and you sing praise of Baba, you sing songs of gratitude to Baba. Do you do that? Yes. Do you have your own commentary of how you express gratitude to Baba? Yes. You should have that. Write that commentary of what Baba has given you and how much shift Baba has brought to your life. And start with, Baba freeing you from body consciousness and the bondage of the mind, the bondage of the intellect, transforming your sanskars, and especially, becoming free from this physical bondage. Earlier you thought that whatever is happening to the body is happening to you. But now you know that what is happening to the body is not happening to you. And Baba has freed us from so many bondages. Baba has freed us from the bondage of lust and attachment and ego and greed and stuff, and the bondage of desires. And then Baba has given us the sustenance of being a father, mother. And you see, having a father, mother is such a big thing. Because most physical relationships are also very dysfunctional these days. So even when people have Lokik parents, so there was this one one brother and he told me that I will never say Baba is my father. So I said, why? So he said, because I hate my father. And my father is the reason why I have all the problems in my life. So I don't think that I would like God to be my father. So I said, you just hear yourself. We are telling you that God is your father. Your father is not God. So now you have to understand that your father is actually your brother, a brother's soul. And you took him for a father, and that's why all these problems came. So he's just a brother's soul, and you have to have compassion for a brother's soul, and you have to have relationship with the father. So Baba says, just think about, have gratitude, sing praise of me. And when you sing praise of Baba, it fills your heart and it makes all that, all those attainments from Baba emerge from inside. And when that happens, that also, and because arrogance comes from emptiness. So when you are empty inside, you fill yourself with arrogance. But when you are full inside, when you remember Baba as he is, when you sing praise of Baba, then there is no space for arrogance. And then Baba says that when you know me as I am, when you belong to me, then a very important sign is you write to me or you communicate with me. And what do we communicate to Baba? Our problems. No. Baba says, you must write to me, because you see, Baba is giving us the solutions of all problems. So there is no point in discussing our problems, because you have to apply the solution. Baba can do nothing more than giving you the solution. So he's giving you the solution, but if we don't apply, what can Baba do? So Baba says, when you apply the knowledge that I am giving you, when you apply the solutions that I am giving you, then you will communicate to me differently. And what is the communication then we'll have? We will write to Baba about how much transformation there is in our life. And we will write to Baba about the seva that we are doing. And Baba says, those who have no transformation, no seva, they never write to me. They have no news to give. And then I understand that Maya is, beating them up. And I see there are many children who sit online also every day, but no communication from them. No report card. No seva samachar, nothing. Because they are not doing any seva, they are not bringing any transformation. If there is transformation, you will have the urge to, share it. If you are doing some seva, you will have the urge to share it. So Baba says, these are the signs of children who are really, on the path of knowledge, because you see, when we discuss the 7 virtues, we say knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, power. So when there is knowledge, true knowledge, there will be all these virtues. And then we say knowledge, yoga, dharana and seva. So if there is true knowledge, the other 3 will follow. So if the other 6 are not following, the other 3 are not following, then there is some problem with the knowledge, and then it is definitely arrogance of knowledge, not knowledge. So these are the signs of a knowledgeful soul, and we have to look at these signs and check whether I am really knowledgeful or there's just arrogance of knowledge. Okay? Om Shanti.